Okay, so if you clicked on this video, which I know that you did, please just listen to me for a couple minutes, hear what I have to say, and then make your own opinions or call me a dumbass in the comments below. If you think I'm wrong, I give you free reign to just all over me in the comments. But the main point of this video is that this market crash is not as bad as people think it is. It's not nearly as bad as people think it is. Everyone right now is just panicking, thinking irrationally, and losing all of their money for absolutely no reason just because they're scared. And the quicker you understand that, the quicker you can actually take advantage of this and make money. So I actually drew up a really good graphic to explain this to you guys. On the left side, we have the panic seller, and on the right side, we have the rational thinker. Right now, I'm on the rational thinker side, okay? Everybody in the market, it seems like, is on the panic seller side. And I'll explain to you exactly what I mean by this. So ignore the red right now. Ignore the red where it says new supply and new demand. Just completely ignore that. The old supply and the old demand was the supply of knives and gloves before the update, and the old demand was the demand for those knives and gloves before the update. So there were 5.5 million knives, and there was an equal amount of demand for those knives, which is why said knives had the prices that they did. So because there were only like, I don't know, let's just say 2,000 karambit dopplers, the demand was high enough for the karambit dopplers to fetch the price that they did because there were only 2,000 of them. And the only way that you could get those knives is by opening up a case and not only getting lucky enough to get a knife, but also getting lucky enough to get a karambit, and on top of that, getting lucky enough to get a karambit doppler instead of a safari mesh. Well, obviously, as we all know, especially if you're watching this video, the new update that Valve did made it to where you can get a guaranteed knife just like that. But the main issue is that everybody that is panicking, they're thinking that the new supply of knives from this update will dwarf the old supply. They are thinking that since there were 5.5 million knives and gloves in the game before, all of a sudden, since you can trade up to knives now, there's going to be 11 million knives and gloves in the game. But I'm telling you right now that it won't happen. It will not happen. Originally, when I saw this update come out, I thought this same exact thing. I thought that, oh my God, the supply of knives and gloves is going to double. Nobody is going to want them anymore because everybody has them, and the price is going to go all the way down because there's no demand. So the panic sellers are thinking that since the supply is going to double, then the demand is going to half, which is why people are selling their gloves and knives for 50 to 60% off. Because they are panicking, they are thinking that this will be the new norm. They are thinking that gloves and knives from now on will be 50% off because they are 50% less rare. So they're just getting out while they can, so they think. But on the other hand, the rational thinker, if you're based like me, which you will be after watching this video, you'll be incredibly based, you will realize that this was the old supply. Again, 5.5 million knives. The new supply will not come anywhere near to doubling the old supply. It just won't. It won't happen. This will not happen. And if it does happen, it will take years. The new supply of knives, obviously, I don't know the exact numbers, but if I had to guess, the new supply will be anywhere from 1 to 2 million more knives, which if we look at the demand, the old demand was up here, and I think the new demand, obviously, it will be lower since there are more knives, but it won't be this low. It will not be this low right here. It won't be anywhere near that low. Obviously, from this update, knives are going to take a huge hit. They are probably going to lose 20 to maybe 25% of their value, and that's a huge maybe. I don't even know if they'll lose that much. I think more realistically, 15 to 20% of their value they will lose. But they will not lose 50% of their value because the supply of knives is not getting doubled. And honestly, right now is when we are seeing the most new knives because people are testing it out. Everyone wants to do a trade up for a knife because they think it's cool. Everybody wants to test their luck. They want to trade up to a knife, and even though they know they can get a gut knife forest DD pad, they want to test their luck and see if they can get a butterfly gamma doppler. And also, on top of all of that, not to even mention, everyone keeps saying, oh, just wait a week and then the market's going to crash even more because all the new knives will be tradable. But what people don't understand is that you can't use trade protected items in trade ups. So if after this update you bought a whole bunch of reds from CS Float, you still would have to wait a week to trade those reds up to a knife. So most of the new knives that we're seeing have already hit the market and are already tradable. And the people that did buy all of those reds off of CS Float right after the update to do a trade up for them in a week's time, probably most of those people will not be doing trade ups because it just takes 1 second to look at the market and realize, holy shit, these reds that I bought for 5 of them, it's $300. And if I trade them up to a knife, chances are that I'm going to get a $60 gut knife Forest D-pad, and the risk isn't worth it and I'm not going to do it. I'm telling you guys, not that many people are going to use 5 covert skins, which are up 100%, 200, 300% even, to get a knife that is down 60%. Not a lot of people are going to be doing this. This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is an instant trading site with a massive selection of skins, low commission, and an easy search system, so buying or trading your skins is as easy as it gets. They have daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways on their freebies tab, and also, last but not least, by using my code DNB, you can get $5 for free just by trading on the site. So make sure to check out Skins Monkey today. And thank you Skins Monkey for sponsoring the video. And if you needed any more proof to my claim, CS Float came out themselves. And keep in mind, these are the guys with all of the data. These are the guys that have a brand name to uphold. They would not lie, they would not give false information for any reason because it would affect their business. They came out with a tweet and they said this: there are roughly 20 million coverts excluding knives and gloves. Even if you traded up every single lower tier skin to a covert, it only adds 9 million more. So in other words, if you traded up every single blue skin in the whole entire game to purples, and then every single purple skin in the whole entire game to pink, every single pink skin in the whole entire game to reds, you would only have a total of 29 million coverts in the whole entire game. And then they go on to say that in the worst case scenario, if all 29 million of those coverts were traded up, it would roughly double the supply of knives and gloves from 5.5 million to 11 million. However, that would require every single skin to be traded to a knife or glove. It is more likely that the total supply increases far less. So what you should take away from this is that even if every single skin in the whole entire game was traded up to a knife, which it won't, by the way, because people like their play skins, people have low float, blues that they want to keep, low float purples that they want to keep. People have crafts in their inventory that they want to keep. People have skins in their inventory that have sentimental value to them that they won't be trading up. And also, there's forgotten inventories. There's people that have thousands of blues in their inventories from opening cases 6-7 years ago, and they stopped playing Counter-Strike. I don't know. They got a job, they moved away, they joined the military, they did something, and they will never come back to Counter-Strike ever again. So even in that instance, which again would never happen, the supply would get doubled, which means that the demand would be halved, which means that the price should go down by half. After all of the skins are traded up to knives, the price should go down to half. I mean, guys, look at this video that Fury uploaded. Marble Fade Fire and Ice. He sold for $1,700.
I sold my Marble Fade, Fire and Ice, Tiger Tooth,
Ursus Tiger Tooth for $180.
Ursus Sapphire, Nomad Sapphire,
Look at the prices he sold these knives for. Look at the prices he sold these knives. He sold a Nomad knife Ruby for $2,300. And I guess just let me pose this question to get my point across. Why do you think that these knives were able to sell? Why do you think that people were willing to buy these knives? Because they understand that when people sell their Nomad knife Ruby for $2,300, it is purely a panic sell and the price will most likely go up. If people didn't think that and firmly believe in that, they would have never spent this amount of money on this knife.
Nomad Ruby, M9 Tiger, and Stiletto Tiger Tooth, and all that for just $8.
He sold all of those knives for just $8,200 because he was panicking.
Okay, and guys, 3 days ago, I would get this amount of money with just this one and this.
It's true. And the thing is, I love Fury, right? But I wish he would have talked to me first. I wish he would have reached out to me, I don't know, called my phone or something and asked me, yo, DNB, what should I do? And I would have told him, brother, don't freak out and sell your skins right now. Wait at least a week. At least a week. Do you really think they're going to go lower than they are right now? And then he would be like, oh yeah, well, probably, I don't think that they'll go lower than they are now. I mean, they're already 50% off. And I'm going to say, yeah, why is it 50% off? And then he's going to be like, well, well, because everybody's freaking out. So I'm going to be like, okay, brother, then don't be one of those people that freaks out. And then he would be like, oh, okay, makes sense. He would wait a week. And then this $8,000 that he got from selling all of these skins right here would have been closer to at least 15,000. And this is right here. This is a crazy thing to see. A bunch of karambits are selling for less than $200. And as a really good example of how crazy this is, now I don't have the exact receipts on this. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. But since the update with the karambit autotronic and field tested for this example, there were roughly 4,500 karambit autotronics in field tested condition before the update. After the update came out, said karambit autotronics in field tested, their price went down from $1,500 to $300. You could buy some for $300. They were selling for a 75% discount. So you would think to yourself, holy shit, if the supply was 4,500 before the update, I'm sure the supply went up to at least 9,000, right? I'm sure there's at least 4,500 new karambit autotronics in field tested. That's why they're selling for so cheap. Do you know how many new karambit autotronics in field tested were added to the market after the update? Well, you don't have to know, because I'll tell you right now. 46 new karambit autotronics were added since the update, and people were selling them for 75% off. To sum up what I think very fast, this is the market right here. So when the trade reverts happened, the market cap was at 5.1 billion. And then the trade revert update happened. People started losing faith in the Counter-Strike economy. People were getting scared about the trade reversals. And what happened was the market cap went down to 4.5 billion. It lost almost 600 million pretty much overnight, or like over the span of a week. And then people realized, wow, this is not really that big of a deal. So then the price of skins kept going up and up and up until we hit a brand new all-time high of $6 billion. And then this new trade up update came out. Overnight, the market cap went from 6 billion to 3.9 billion. And if you look closely, it is going back up from 3.97 billion to 4 billion. This is because people are realizing that it's not as bad as they thought. Now, I will say this, however. I absolutely do not think that we will get back to these prices ever again. I don't think that we'll get back to all-time high prices, because simply there will be more golds in the game. They're easier to get. There will be more golds, but there won't be as many as people thought there would be. I think that the market will probably go back up to around here, probably back up to 5 billion. So somewhere here, I think the market will go back up to. Maybe, 5 billion if we're lucky. I think the market could go back up to 5 billion in a month. I genuinely believe this. And if you look, obviously other people believe this too. If you look at the 7-day number, every single skin is down by 20 to 50%, obviously because of the panic and because of the market crash. But if you look at the 24 hours, every single skin is up 50%, another 50 here, 97% on the butterfly fade, 30%, 50 again, 60% on the Deagle Blaze. Everyone is starting to realize exactly what I'm saying here. And if you look over here at the graph, it dipped down and now it is coming back up. Now again, it won't go back up to what it was before the update, but it will absolutely not stay this low. And if you want to buy, then buy right now. This is not financial advice. Do not click away from this video and just go and buy a bunch of skins for no reason. But if you want to make money and if you want to recuperate some of your losses, the best thing to do for you would be to buy right now while everybody is still panicking, because people are still panicking 3-4 days later, which is ridiculous to me, because I spent 30 minutes looking at the numbers and I realized, holy shit, this is not nearly as bad as everybody is making it out to be. On a final note, I think that the skins that will lose the most money from this update are rare knives and gloves, like for example, gems. I think that sapphires, rubies, black pearls, and emeralds will lose a lot of money because now they're just easier to get. Before, obviously, you had to open a case and not only get lucky enough to get a butterfly, but also get lucky enough for that butterfly to be a Doppler. And then on top of all of that, you had to get lucky enough for that Doppler to be an emerald. Now you can just trade up to butterfly knives, and nobody's sure right now the exact odds to get a gem, but it seems like the odds are way higher to get a gem from trade ups than they are from opening cases. And even if they're not higher, you can do a trade up for a guaranteed knife, and you can't open any case for a guaranteed knife. So gems will lose a lot of money. Also, I think that low and high float knives will lose a lot of money. They won't fetch as much overpay anymore, because if you want a low float knife, you can just put low float coverts in the trade up for inputs, and then your output of course would also be a low float. I think that those knives will be the hardest biggest hit. So my advice would be to stay away from those ones if you are trying to buy the dip. Also, the same thing with gloves, low float gloves, factory new and minimal wear gloves. I think that those will go down in price a lot too, because it used to be really rare to get gloves in factory new from cases because a lot of them were float capped, but now it doesn't matter because you can put low float inputs into the trade up. But other than that, guys, I'm telling you, the market will go back up. If you are holding onto your skins, keep holding on to them. If you want to make money, right now would be the best time to do this. Please do your own research. Do not just listen to what I said in this video because I'm just a guy. I'm just a dumbass who looked at a couple numbers and has been trading Counter-Strike skins for like 10 years. But you should do your own research and then come to your own conclusions. But what I want to leave you with is that this is not as bad as maybe you initially thought it was. This might be the worst thing to ever happen to skins, at least from an investor standpoint. If you want some really nice skins, you will now be able to get them for cheaper, which is good for you if you don't have a lot of money to spend on Counter-Strike. Although what I'm saying is that they won't be this cheap for very long. If you're one of those people that every single time you see a video on this subject, you leave a comment saying, oh yeah, well, skin shouldn't be the price of a fucking house. Duh. Obviously it was gonna crash because skin shouldn't be the price of a house. If you're one of those people and you want a Counter-Strike skin for cheap, I firmly believe that right now will probably be the cheapest that they ever will be. Unless Valve does some more crazy shit. I genuinely believe everything I said in this video, and once people come to their senses, they will realize that they have just been panic selling all of their skins for like 60% off, and they're gonna be pissed.